Hey, what's up everybody? It's Ryutech, and today we're talking about the best $500 gaming PC for January of 2020. Now, $500 gaming PCs are actually pretty popular among most entry-level gaming PCs. I don't recommend you go for any gaming PC builds below $500, as usually they don't have as good of performance that you're looking for in a gaming PC. So this is the perfect entry-level computer for gaming. Now, that's not to say it's a bad PC. It's very powerful. It'll be able to run modern games at probably above 60 frames per second at 1080p, and maybe a few light games at 2K or 4K at 60 frames or around that frame rate. But for the most part, this is a great gaming PC that'll be able to run all your new games at 1080p above 60 frames per second at around medium to high settings. Now, before we get straight into it, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like and subscribed, as it really helps this channel and inspires me to make more videos and keep the content going for you guys. Now, let's get straight into it with the CPU. So we're using AMD's Ryzen 5 2600 3.4 GHz 6-core processor for $115 from Amazon. Now, this is a very strong CPU. It'll be able to handle all the games that you're probably imagining right now. As one, it's from Ryzen and it's paired with a very strong video card that is also from AMD. AMD ensures that their parts are well compatible. So since we're pairing a Ryzen processor with an AMD video card, this will be a very great match, and it'll be able to handle all these games in a very efficient manner. Also, for things other than gaming, it'll be able to handle with flying colors, as again, it's a strong CPU. Next up, we have the motherboard. We're using Gigabyte's B450 MicroATX AM4 motherboard for $78 from Amazon. Now, there's not much to say about the motherboard other than it's compatible with all our parts and it'll hold all of our parts together, as well as it's future-proof. So if you have any plan to upgrade your computer, it has multiple PCIe Express slots and 4 RAM slots. So if you want to upgrade to 16 gigabytes, highly recommend you do that in the future with this build. So if you plan to do that, it has 2 extra slots after you put in the 2 we have planned for this build, which are G.Skill's Ripjaw 5 series, 8GB, which is 2x4 gigabyte sticks of DDR4 2400 memory for $37 on Newegg. Now, it has free shipping. That's always a great thing to see. So pretty much 8GB will be enough, but I highly recommend you plan on upgrading to 16 gigabytes in the not too distant future, as most games are starting to recommend that you have more than 8GB to run their games nowadays. But that doesn't mean 8GB will not work for you. As a matter of fact, I have 8GB in my build right now, and Modern Warfare, Battlefront 2, and Battlefield 5 run perfectly, but I do plan on upgrading to 16 gigabytes soon, as should you if you happen to make this build. So yeah, this is pretty fast memory, 2400 megahertz, not too bad at all. It's pretty decent. Again, this is a $500 build, so we're not doing anything too fancy, and I'm not trying to down talk this memory at all. I'm just saying it's decent, but it's not great. Next up, we have the storage. So we're using both a hard drive and an SSD. For the hard drive, we're using Western Digital's Caviar Blue 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM internal hard drive for $35 from Amazon. Now, as you can probably tell, most of these parts are from Amazon, so you're probably gonna get these parts pretty quick, which is a really good thing. So with this hard drive, you get 500 gigabytes, which is a very good amount for games. If you're into those really big games like Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, or Battlefield 5, it'll probably be able to hold 3 to 4 games. But if you plan on getting way more games than that, highly recommend you go for a 1 terabyte drive. But again, I do have a $500 price point, so I had to keep it at 500 gigabytes for this one. But pretty much other than games, you're also gonna wanna put maybe some videos, photos, things you don't want too fast of access to on the hard drive. Now, for the SSD, we're using Kingston's A400 120 gigabyte solid state drive for $22 from Amazon. So on this SSD, you want to put Windows. No matter what, you can put anything anywhere else, but make sure you put Windows on the SSD. Also, if you have any files you want super fast access to, you want to put those on the SSD. Windows will only take up, I believe, 20 or 30 gigabytes of this SSD, so it'll give you 90 gigabytes to spend on anything you want super fast access to, as the SSD is significantly faster than the hard drive. Now, for the piece you've all probably been waiting for, the video card. We're using XFX's Radeon RX 580 8GB of VRAM black video card from Best Buy for $170. Now, it has free shipping. That's a really cool thing to see. Now, pretty much I chose this one because it has a higher clock rate versus the other video cards that were available. So I chose XFX's Radeon RX 580. Has good reviews. XFX, it's very hard to pronounce their name, XFX is pretty new to the graphics card market, and you might not have heard of them before, but trust me, they're to be trusted, they're very good, and this is a high quality video card. Next up for the case, we're using CIT's F3 MicroATX mini tower case for $25. Now this is a pretty cheap case. I didn't have a lot of money to spare on this build, as again, it is a $500 build, and I tried to keep it as close to $500 as possible, but if you want a higher quality case, you absolutely can go for one. Just make sure it's labeled ATX and it'll be able to hold all of these parts within it. It's a pretty good looking case though. I like white cases with blue tones. This has exactly that, and it's pretty cheap, but if you want to go for a different one, kind of recommend you do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just make sure it's labeled ATX. Last but not least, we have the power supply. We're using Rosewill's 450 watt 80 plus bronze certified ATX power supply for $52 from Amazon with free shipping. Now pretty much with the power supply, it'll be able to supply all of the power you need for all these parts. According to PCPartPicker, it estimates that the 450 watts of 80 plus bronze certified power is enough to supply all of the parts, so that's a really good thing. Also, with a little bit of leeway, you can upgrade this, so if you want to add more RAM, use a different video card, it most likely will be able to handle the power that those are consuming if you decide to upgrade. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Once again, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It really helps out the channel and inspires me to make more videos. And if you have any comments or questions, drop them below. I'll try to respond as fast as I possibly can. I understand that a lot of questions arise when you're making a big investment on buying a gaming PC or gaming PC parts. So if you have any questions, be sure to drop them below, and I or other users will most likely respond to you with a lengthy, juicy response. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.